Hey everyone, it's Reena. So today was an unbelievably long, crazy, super amazing day. I was at the Kennedy Center Arts Summit all day today. And the Arts Summit is a single day where people come together and talk about how we can use the arts to kind of move conversations and dialogues in our country forward. And this time it was around, health and resources and education. And we just talk about how we can really use the arts to start to ask these really difficult questions. And of course, that's why they have all of us there who are the citizen artists who are, trying to ask those difficult questions in our work and in our communities. So it was unbelievably amazing. Words cannot even describe how awesome it was. So my highs, there were many of them today, and I'm actually going to tell you all of them because gosh, just because they all happen in one day doesn't mean I should have to pick one. Katie Wyatt, who is another Citizen Artist Fellow, she's actually the executive director of El Sistema USA, which is it's based on this El Sistema program in Venezuela where, people who are children from kind of underprivileged places are able to learn classical music in this really rigorous way that advances so many things in their life. And so we did my piece Take What You Need with this wonderful orchestra and choir from El Sistema, and these are all kids who were probably like 4th and 5th grade to maybe 7th or 8th grade, kind of late elementary and middle school students, and it was just amazing to sing to them and have them sing back to me, and have all these children from just so many different cultural backgrounds, so many different places in life. I don't know, just sing Take What You Need. It moved me. It's funny because I always cry a little bit when people start singing Take What You Need back to me. And it's hard because when I'm the person who's singing the call, I feel like my voice cracks to the point where I'm not sure that the notes are going to come out correctly. And that definitely happened today, both in the first rehearsal and in the performance. It's a good thing, but it's also musically a little challenging because you're like, oh God, are people not going to be able to hear me because my voice is cracking because I'm crying? But yeah, I mean, Take What You Need has been an amazing journey and continues to be an amazing journey. And every time a different group performs the piece, it kind of adds such beauty to the story of this piece. Another high that I thought was really sweet. There was one girl who was speaking during the piece. Her name is Maya. She's a little girl whose parents are from Ethiopia, and she immediately kind of said this thing to me where she's like, my parents are from Ethiopia, but it's not as bad as people say. Like, the news makes it out to be really bad, but it's actually like more safe than you think it is. And I mean, all this with no prompting from me. And it was funny because I was saying to her, hey, my parents are immigrants from the Indian diaspora, and I'm also a first generation American who was born here. Things are often made out to be worse in India than they really are in terms of just these muggings that go on, and people think that things are unsafe, and maybe they aren't quite in the way that people think that they are. So it was just funny that she really owned that at the beginning, and I think so much in these last few days has made me think about the way that the women around me are really owning their cultural identity. Like I was saying yesterday, that the Citizen Artist Fellow Rulan, who is a Native American, just really owns in the way that she dresses her own culture. And I very much felt this way from the same little Ethiopian girl, Maya, that she was just super owning where she was from. And it's really inspiring to me. And, it doesn't necessarily take someone who's super famous or, very visible to really inspire you. And I certainly felt very inspired by this just brilliant little 10-year-old. The other thing that was so amazing, just the performance of Take What You Need. I mean, I can't tell you, I was in this atrium and there's 45 kids on the stage singing and performing Take What You Need. I was there with Katie Wyatt, and, we were kind of co-leading the piece. And then there were 300 people just on all sides of this room, and I was standing in the middle of them and singing to the children and singing to the audience. And it was just like being enveloped in this sea of people who were all singing Take What You Need back to me. And when I was saying, take a moment, take a breath, take time, take care, they were saying all these messages back to me. And I mean, just the amount of energy and love you receive when people wish you well. And, in the context of this song, in the context of this call and response, but then, you feel that beautiful energy from people. And I just had this out of body moment where I was like, my God, this is happening. Like, I'm doing this at the Kennecy Center, at the Art Summit. This is really happening. It was really amazing, and as a composer, I don't often get to be part of the music making process in that particular way. And I'm always very self-conscious. I'm like, oh, my voice isn't great, blah, blah, blah. But at that moment, it really felt like where I needed to be. And I was so happy to be there. The thing that I've been saving for last, and I so wish I had this thing to show you, but maybe I'll just crop in a picture of it so that you can see it, is this is just unbelievable. The Kennecy Center team commissioned these little action figures of each of us. So I have like a little superhero action figure, Reena, and I mean, when I saw this thing, I just can't tell you what it did for my heart, because, I'm someone who, I mean, and just like the other citizen artist fellows, I mean, all of us, we are people who fight so hard for the things and the people that we love. We will go above and beyond. We will just pool together resources. We will do whatever it takes to, find justice and to find, a space for people to have the voice that they need to have in this world. And we care so deeply about that. And what the Kennecy Center team was saying to us is like, all of you are these superheroes in your community. And so we made these little superhero figures of you. And I mean, just having that little figure, and I'm telling you, the person who designed this figurine got it totally right. Like, I have these bangs, and he totally got my bangs right. He totally got how I wear the scarf in this very particular way where it's like a little loose around, my neck. And then the back had like a picture of me, and it was just, it was so sweet and thoughtful, and just made me feel, I don't know, it's just, I can imagine looking at this little action figure on days when things are really tough, and I don't feel like a superhero. Most days I'm just like, how am I even doing this? How am I going to get all this stuff done? And seeing that is kind of like maybe the best version of me, the version who's super on top of things, and has made me think so much about how this fellowship has really made me own that part of myself, not to be apologetic for the fact that I really know how to pool resources together and make things happen to get things done, and to build love and support for what I care about, and for the people and the music and the causes and the things that are really dear to me. So gosh, thank you. I mean, I'm just going to say this directly. Mario Rosero, Jordan LaSalle, Sydney Creek, Xavier Boudreau, thank you so much for everything that you've done for all of us this year. It's been, I can't even describe it. I mean, it's been really life-changing for me, yeah, thank you so much. So that was really great. And then I guess my last high was after the summit was over, we all, like most of the Citizen Artist Fellows, minus Hakeem, the rest of us all went out for dinner and drinks. And just, gosh, being together with them for the last time, like I said, was so bittersweet, because these are people who are asking the same questions I'm asking, and who are looking at things from different angles and in different communities. And it really makes me think that this is how change is made, by people who are just on the ground doing the work, getting to spend deep and meaningful quality time with each other. And I mean, the only thing that gives me some solace is that we all travel a lot, and we'll probably end up being in one another's cities. And though, we'll have to make efforts to see one another individually, and we probably all won't be together in this cohort again. It just felt so wonderful to spend that time with them, and to get to just talk about the things that are near and dear to us, and about the people that we love and that we fight for. So yeah, that was really great. Some lows. So the first thing is just a practical thing. I think last night I must have drunk some coffee that I thought was decaf and wasn't decaf, because I was up till 5 o'clock in the morning. And God, when I get up past, or when I stay up past 3 o'clock a.m., I start to just, my brain goes to these weird places. And I mean, and I've said that I've been very, very stressed about getting this Albany piece done on time. And I just, for the past 2 days, I haven't been able to write anything. And then I was up all night panicking about it, which like wasn't helpful. And I kept on thinking, okay, should I write it instead of just panicking? And then I was like, no, if I go and write it, I'm so tired that it's not going to go well. And then I'm going to panic even more. And so, I mean, in the end, I just like stayed up and panicked till 5 a.m. and then went to sleep for 2 hours and then woke up again at 7 and, had to get ready. So it was not a night of great sleep. And that really affected just my ability to enjoy just parts of the art summit. There were times when I felt like I couldn't be quite as present as I wanted to be, so that was a bit of a low. The other low, and I hesitated to even mention this, but I want to just be honest with you about where I am and what's on my mind, is that the Pulitzer results came out today, and I had submitted, and I was really hoping that the piece that I submitted would get some recognition, and it didn't. And I mean, again, I think I'm just saying this because to me it feels even so presumptuous to be like, I wish I had won a Pulitzer. I mean, that sounds insane, and yet I feel, 3 years ago, 3 years ago, I submitted for the Pulitzer before, and I mean, and obviously didn't get it. I think there's always been this part of me that doesn't even feel like I deserve to submit or deserve to have my work even considered, and it takes so much for me to get to a point where I'm like, no, this is something I want to put forward as something that could win a big prize like this. And even having the gumption to do that has been a very, very long journey for me. So, I mean, admitting publicly that I kind of wish that I had gotten recognized is so difficult for me, but, I don't know. I mean, I want to... I do feel that my work is at a level where I'm really proud of it, and I really do want to put it forward for things that that composers get. So yeah, I mean, it was, like I said, I mean, these things are, so many people apply, very few people get it, but yeah, I don't know what else to say. I guess it just was a low. I was kind of checking the results and everything, and they tell you exactly when they're going to announce it, and yeah, I don't know, it was a little tough, even though, like I said, I don't even feel justified to say that it was tough, like, oh, boohoo me, like I didn't win a Pulitzer, like whatever. I mean, that's not what I mean at all, but sometimes it just feels a little low. So that was that. So something I'm glad I did, so I wrote this and I can't even read my own handwriting. I'm really glad that before Take What You Need, I wrote out all the comments that I was going to say. And this is exactly what I was saying for Smith. I didn't quite write out all the comments, and I didn't, take the time to plan what I was going to say. And I'm really glad I did this time because, at the end of a day, Take What You Need was what basically closed the entire art summit. It was the last performance of the day. And, people are exhausted, and people have been thinking and doing like all this really deep, thoughtful work. And you want to get in there and say something that's really succinct, and you don't want to ramble because people are going to lose concentration, and you want them to concentrate on the music. And so I made a very clear through line, and then because I knew I had those notes, I didn't actually even rely on them except just a couple times to check in, but I felt really confident speaking in front of these people who, I mean, many of them are very, very powerful operators in the arts, and if you're not worried about tripping up or forgetting to say something, if you just have the notes right there, it makes it so much easier to just speak extemporaneously. And the other thing I'm really glad of is that, I have, this is back to the Pulitzer thing. I have a kind of a tribe of people, and there are two other composers who are dear friends of mine in LA, who I feel like sometimes just get it, and sometimes just understand things. And it's one of these things where when something happens to you that feels a little vulnerable, it feels like I don't want to, I don't want people to take this wrong, whatever. It's really hard to know who to share those things with, and you just want people who are gonna like immediately understand where you're at. And I mean, these two composers who I love really dearly, we're the three of us are on this text chain, and whenever something happens to one of us where we're just a little like like this is stressful, or I mean, even things that deal with just systemic injustice, because all of us are people of color, and all of us kind of work outside the world of Western music in some way, and I really felt glad that I reached out to them, because I think that they were the right people, and I kind of just shot them a text and I was like, hey, this happened. And the things that they said were, it's not even that they were encouraging, because it's not, we all, the three of us just feel this deep feeling that we support each other so wholeheartedly because we just love each other's music and feel like it should be out there. And I mean, there's just so much love between the three of us. It's really funny because the name of the piece that I submitted was called this Love Between Us, but I just feel like they get it on so many levels, and it makes me feel like really secure in who I am and in my own identity as a composer and as a person. So I think finding your tribe is so important, and I feel very, very fortunate to, finally have found mine. So, yeah, thanks to Derek and Juan Pablo, who are always amazing. And then regrets. So one of the things that was hard about today was that because we were rehearsing with these students from El Sistema, and bear in mind they were coming from 5 different El Sistema programs in the area, that Katie had organized all these things. They hadn't rehearsed with one another yet, so there were a lot of moving parts, and we needed to have a lot of rehearsal time. And because of that, Katie and I missed a lot of the content of the Art Summit. And I really regret that I missed that. I mean, even though there was no way around it. I mean, there was no way the piece would have gone as well as it did if we hadn't had all that rehearsal time, and if I hadn't spent time with the girls who were speaking in the middle of the interludes. But I really felt that there was so much amazing discussion that was being had that I wished I could be a part of. And I mean, honestly, I was thinking this time, gosh, I really hope I can return to Washington, D.C. in the next few years at some point, to be just a guest at the Art Summit, to just be there like an audience member and actually experience what the Art Summit is designed for people to experience, and to just spend the day thinking about things and learning and taking things in, which I think I did a little bit last year, but I was just such a deer in headlights last year that I don't think I fully, I wasn't really able to relax. So yeah, I regret that I didn't hear more of the conversation, and honestly, I'll probably go back to the live stream and maybe just go back and fill in the gaps of things that I missed. My other huge regret, and this is so sad that this happened. So the Kennecy Center team asked us who they who we wanted to invite to the art summit, and we could kind of say these are these artists or whatever that I want to be there so that I can have some time to interact with them. And they really went and invited those people. And the person that I so deeply wanted to meet was Azar Nafisi. She wrote this book called The Republic of Imagination that I just read the introduction and immediately fell in love with this woman and her writing. And she's the one she's famous for writing reading Lolita in Tehran. And I mean, gosh, just what an imaginative mind. She's so amazing. And so I'm sitting at 9:00 in this session, and I'm in the back of this theater, and Azar Nafisi walks up, and I was like, oh my God, it's her. And immediately I kind of panicked because, I mean, it had been admittedly a little while since I had last read The Republic of Imagination. So I'm literally, she sits down right in front of me, but just out of reach where I couldn't reach over without kind of disrupting the situation. And so first I'm like Googling her to make sure it's really her, because I was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen this person in person. Like maybe I'm gonna be like, Azar, and it's not her or whatever. So like Googled her thoroughly, and I was like, no, it's definitely her. And then I was like, okay, well, I want to like not sound like an idiot when I talk to her, so I'm literally on my Kindle, like on my iPhone, pulling up my highlighted notes from her book, trying to be like, okay, what are the points that I'd wanted to make to her when I had read this book? Because, you know, I just want to like make a really, you know, just have a really good conversation with her. And so then, I mean, the thing is, we had to run out for this El Sistema thing, and you know, for our rehearsals and stuff. And then by the time I finally got a moment to speak to her, she had already left, and it just crushed my soul because you know, I mean, the Kennecy Center had taken this time to invite her there so that I could meet her, and I didn't get a chance to do that. But I'm hoping that maybe, you know, we've shared this experience together. I mean, she's certainly seen me because I was on the stage, and like, I'm hoping that maybe at some point we can have a discussion, because you know, sometimes you just meet these creative voices, or you encounter them, you know, in your reading or in your exploration, and you just feel like, gosh, I just want to sit down and have a conversation with this person. And you know, I felt that about Jhumpa Lahiri. I've felt that about Azar Nafisi. A lot of these incredible writers who just, I mean, the experiences that they portray are things that are so close to me. And you know, yeah. Well, I hope that someday I have the chance to sit down with her. So anyway, that was this amazing long day. I know this is a super long video, but yeah, it was a really great day. I'll see you tomorrow.